the government just did something it has never done before in history. On May 8, 2026, just days ago, the United States Pentagon published 162 classified files on UFOs. Videos, photos, military reports, FBI documents, astronaut transcripts, all of it, online, no clearance required. Anyone on Earth can read them right now. 4-hour a football-shaped craft near Japan, a glowing orb that outran a military helicopter for 20 miles, and transcripts from Apollo astronauts describing lights in space that no one has ever explained. This isn't conspiracy. This isn't YouTube speculation. This is the United States Department of Defense, officially stating, on the record, that these cases remain unresolved. They called the program PERS-RU, and what they released changes everything. For decades, the question was simple. Is the government hiding something about UFOs? The answer, as of this week, is complicated, because they just opened the vault. Let's go through what we actually know, from official sources only. It started quietly in 2007 when the Pentagon secretly funded a program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, AATIP. This program ran in the shadows for years, investigating unexplained aerial encounters reported by military personnel. The public didn't know it existed. Then in 2017, the New York Times broke the story wide open, and with it leaked footage that would shake the world. The videos became known by names: Tic Tac, Gimbal, Go Fast. They showed U.S. Navy pilots tracking objects that behaved in ways no known aircraft can. In the most famous case, November 14, 2004, Commander David Fravor and Lieutenant Commander Alex Dietrich were flying training missions with the USS Nimitz Carrier Strike Group about 100 miles southwest of San Diego. They spotted a white, wingless object, roughly 40 feet long, hovering above the water. As Fravor descended toward it, the object mirrored his trajectory and then vanished. Moments later, it appeared 40 miles away instantly. As of today, that object has never been identified. The Pentagon officially confirmed the authenticity of those videos in 2020. Not a leak, not a mistake. Official confirmation. Then came the institutional response. In 2020, the government formed the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. In 2022, Congress created the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, ARO, with a mandate to investigate unexplained events not just in the air, but underwater, in space, and on the ground of Bequeath. With a band the PAV. Between May 2023 and June 2024 alone, AWAG 757 new UAP reports. That number should stop you for a second. 757 in 13 months. Now fast forward to February 2026. President Trump directed the Pentagon, NASA, the FBI, and the entire intelligence community to identify, review, and release UAP records to the public. They created a new program with its own acronym PERS-UA, Presidential Unsealing and Reting System for UAP Encounters. And on May 8, 2026, they delivered the first batch. 162 files. 82 from the Pentagon, 56 from the FBI, 12 from NASA, 8 from the State Department, 28 videos, 14 images, 128 videos, 14 images, 120 documents, cases dating from 1944 to 2026, over 400 incidents documented from locations around the world. The documents contain eyewitness testimony, photos, and reports of sightings of unexplained objects, detailing incidents dating back decades from across the globe. A large share of the alleged encounters date back to the 1950s and 1960s, particularly in Cold War-era hotspots. More recent reports are concentrated in the Middle East, including around the Strait of Hormuz, Iraq, and Syria, where the U.S. has maintained a substantial military presence. Among the documents is the famous Twining Memo from 2047, in which General Nathan Twining stated, "The phenomenon reported is something real and not visionary or fictitious. There are objects probably approximating the shape of a disk, of such appreciable size as to appear to be as large as man-made." That memo sat classified for decades. Now it's public. One pilot described seeing a triangular and metallic UAP flying at 25,000 feet over the Mediterranean. Another FBI file describes a glowing orb that hovered over the ground, reported to have traveled 20 miles at a speed too fast for a pursuing helicopter. In NASA transcripts from 1969, Apollo 11 astronaut Buzz Aldrin told the government he saw a possible laser in space, saying, "I observed what appeared to be a fairly bright light source which we tentatively ascribed to a possible laser." Among the files are incidents from the Apollo 11, Apollo 12, and Apollo 17 moon missions. In a 1969 debriefing after the Apollo 11 flight, astronaut Buzz Aldrin also reported seeing little flashes inside the cabin, spaced a couple of minutes apart, while trying to fall asleep. And here is the official government statement on all of it. Word for word, the materials archived here are unresolved cases, meaning the government is unable to make a definitive determination on the nature of the observed phenomena. They don't know what these things are, and they are saying so publicly. But here's the part that matters most, and to understand why this disclosure is happening right now and what it could mean for the future, you need to stay until the very end of this video, because the answer isn't what most people expect. So we know the files are real. We know the objects are unresolved. But what exactly is in these videos, and what do the specific cases tell us? The roughly 24 videos, which run for a total of 41 minutes, show reported encounters around the world between 2020 and 2026. Most show footage from an infrared camera tracking a white object that appears as a speck on the screen moving through the air. The report that accompanied a video taken in Greece in 2023 said the object was making multiple 90-degree turns at approximately 80 miles per hour. Let that sink in. 90-degree turns at 80 miles per hour, with no wings, no visible propulsion, no sonic boom. One of the videos shows an object described as resembling a football in the Indo-Pacific. Another from Syria shows two semi-transparent, irregularly shaped orange areas that each appear for 2 seconds. The Pentagon released an archival image from the Apollo 17 mission to the moon, showing 3 dots in a triangular formation in the lunar sky. Apollo 17 astronaut Jack Schmitt reported seeing a flash on the lunar surface north of Grimaldi crater. These are not anonymous internet clips. These are NASA-authenticated photographs from the moon, released by the United States Department of Defense in 2026. Now let's talk about scale. ARO acknowledges hundreds of new reports annually, with 757 between May 2023 and June 2024 alone. And these aren't random civilian reports. These are submissions from military pilots, drone operators, radar technicians, and intelligence personnel, people trained to identify what they see. Some recent 2024 and 2025 reports included accounts from drone pilots and service members who described objects moving in ways they could not explain. Wikipedia, ARO's mandate expanded beyond aerial to include underwater, space, and terrestrial anomalies, reflecting concerns over potential foreign drones or adversarial technology. And this is a critical point the media often buries. The government's primary concern isn't aliens, it's national security. These objects are appearing near nuclear facilities, military bases, active combat zones, and restricted airspace. Whether they are foreign technology or something else entirely, the implication is the same. Something is operating in controlled airspace that the most powerful military on Earth cannot explain or intercept. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said, "These files, hidden behind classifications, have long fueled justified speculation, and it's time the American people see it for themselves." Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard described a comprehensive multi-agency declassification program being underway, calling Friday's action the first in what will be an ongoing joint declassification and release effort. New documents will be released on a rolling basis as they are discovered and declassified, with tranches posted every few weeks. This is not a one-time dump. This is an ongoing process, which means we don't have the full picture yet. And that raises the question everyone is avoiding. If the first batch contained cases from the 1940s, moon missions, encounters over nuclear sites, and objects making impossible maneuvers, what does the next batch contain? The Pentagon's own statement is unambiguous. These cases are unresolved, not explained, not debunked, unresolved. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think is actually behind these phenomena? Advanced foreign military technology? Something natural we don't yet understand? Or something else entirely? Write your honest opinion in the comments below. No judgment. Every perspective matters here. And if this topic caught your attention, don't miss my previous video. It covered a case just as mysterious, just as officially documented, and in many ways even more unsettling. You'll find it on the channel. If you want to stay ahead of the story as new declassified files drop every few weeks, subscribe to By Read Cat. This is just the beginning.